everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 15 Plus and compare it against the iPhone 15 Pro Max and see which particular iPhone is a better one for you. Now, the thing I would definitely tell you about all these particular iPhones is that you can't really go wrong with either one. These are very solid iPhones with a lot of capability, and that is something I like a lot about these particular iPhones. So if you want to pick up any iPhone that I recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of the iPhone 15 Plus and the 15 Pro Max, on the front of the 15 Plus, you're getting a 6.7-inch Super Retina Extra OLED display. Now, the thing you have to remember about these particular iPhones is that they are giving you very good, solid devices for the most part, which is something that's actually very nice. I like these devices a lot. And when you're looking at them from a device perspective, like from a display perspective, they're very good looking displays. Now, it's a 60Hz panel, so it's not like the best looking display of all time, but it's pretty solid, and I don't really have that much to complain about here from the design perspective because it's a very good looking display. On top of that, another big thing you're going to have to keep in mind is that you are getting a dynamic island on this display, which is actually very nice. I like having the dynamic island here, and once again, like I said before, if I'm going to go through and get any sort of device, I like the fact that these things are going to be giving me that type of capability of having a pretty good looking device with its dynamic island and everything. It's a very good looking phone. With the iPhone 15 Pro Max, this is overall probably the better looking panel here without a doubt, and it is probably one of the best looking type of panels that you've probably ever seen. That is something that I really appreciate about these particular iPhones, is that this is probably going to be one of the best type of devices and the best type of displays that Apple's going to be making. So as of right now, that's a really, really nice thing going on for this particular panel, which is something I actually like a lot. So 120Hz panel on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, dynamic island on it too. And that's another cool thing, like I said before, that I kind of throw in here in this particular iPad as well, and these particular iPhones as well. On the bottoms and the sides, pretty much built exactly the same way. Another big thing nowadays is that Apple is kind of removing the reflective material that they did kind of have before. So before we had this reflective material, they kind of went through and kind of removed it now, which is kind of unfortunate, but you are getting it on both, which is kind of nice. I guess it's kind of evens things out. On the bottom, you're getting that USB Type-C port on both these devices, which is another very nice thing. I love having USB Type-C, and I've honestly used USB-C so much on my devices in the last couple of years. And the fact that my iPhone has it now is so amazing. So that is something you're getting on both, and it's a very cool thing that we have that type of capability on these two devices in and of itself. On the back side, you're basically getting, again, frosted glass backs on both, which is a very, very nice thing. I love having frosted glass backs. It's a super nice thing, and this in and of itself, once again, is a very, very cool thing going on for these particular devices when it comes down to it. On top of that, another big thing is that you are basically getting your, the wireless charging, massive capability, the cameras on the top left as well. Some very, very cool stuff going on for these particular devices. And like I said before, they definitely get a thumbs up for me. I like these cameras a lot, and I'm a very big fan of these particular devices when it comes down to it. So this in and of itself, on the outside, very big thumbs up for me. However, a big thing to keep in mind is the price tag. The iPhone 15 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Plus are significantly different in prices in the brand new market. They're like a couple $100 difference, which is going to cycle down for the used prices. So they're pretty much always going to be a couple of $100 difference when it kind of comes down to the price tag. So this in and of itself is just another one of those big massive things to keep in mind, is that yes, the 15 Pro Max is better, but it's also going to be a more expensive device when it comes down to it as well. So take it as you will, but that in and of itself is another very big thing to kind of keep in mind with these particular devices too. On top of that, when it comes down to the camera side, this is also going to be another very big difference when it comes down to the camera as well. So between both, you're getting a little bit of a difference. With the iPhone 15 Plus, you're getting a dual camera setup. With the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you're getting a triple camera setup. Now, I've always been the one to say, and I'll still say this to this day, the more cameras, usually the better. And I do like having multiple cameras inside of my device, more so than having less cameras. And with the 15 Plus, you're basically getting this wide and ultra-wide camera. The 15 Pro Max, you're basically getting the wide and ultra-wide camera too. But keep in mind, as I mentioned before, you are definitely getting the better camera without a doubt inside of the 15 Pro Max. 4K at 60 on the front and the back, LiDAR sensor on the 15 Pro Max. That camera is definitely going to be way better. And you're getting more camera features like ProRes RAW and all those things that you can film into. Most probably, I'm going to be honest, you're probably not even going to use all those features built inside of that camera, but it is very nice that you have that type of capability. And I'll definitely tell you from that side, I definitely do like having that type of capability inside of that camera, inside of my 15 Pro Max. So take it as you will. this in and of itself is a very, very nice thing, and both cameras are great. There's not like a bad camera here, but if you're wanting the better one, definitely go for the 15 Pro Max. That one just makes a lot more sense for me to recommend to people rather than the 15 Plus. So from that front, that kind of covers it up there. From the software side, one thing you kind of have to keep in mind here too, is if you're wanting the longer lasting phone, potentially the 15 Pro Max is going to be the one I'd recommend probably a vast majority of people to go ahead and buy. The thing you have to remember is that between both are going to be supported for many years. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. And both these devices are still very, very good devices. That's something I like a lot about both of them. However, the thing you're going to have to really keep in mind is that with the iPhone 15 Plus, this is going to be one of those iPhones that's probably not going to last as long as the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So if you're in that situation and you're like trying to figure out what you're trying to figure out, then you're probably going to want the better, longer lasting phone. And with the iPhone 15 Plus, that may not be the longer lasting one for you. But they're still going to be supported for many, many years to come. And I do think this in and of itself is a very big thing to keep in mind here. That if you're wanting the longer lasting one, the iPhone 15 Plus is probably the one that's not going to be there for you, but the 15 Pro Max is there, and that's going to be a very nice thing going on for both these phones. On top of that, the performance is also another pretty crazy thing. The iPhone 15 Plus has that Apple A16 Bionic chip inside of it with 6GB of RAM, but the iPhone 15 Pro has the Apple A17 Pro chip inside of it with 8GB of RAM. So the big thing you're going to have to keep in mind here is which one is going to be giving you the better performance and which one are you going to use more. If you're going to want to use the phone that's going to give you the best performance of all time, then clearly the iPhone 15 Pro Max is going to be the one for you. That phone is going to be giving you significantly better performance in almost every single way, and that is just kind of what ends up happening. But I will tell you, with the iPhone, with the iPhone 15 Plus, it's still going to be very, very close. Like, that particular device is going to be giving you very good performance and a very good experience, and that device is still going to be very good in almost every single way as well. And that is something I like a lot, and I love a lot about my particular iPhone, is that I can just go ahead and use either one of these and get very good experience. These are going to be the best phones that you can basically buy, and you're not really going to notice like big, massive differences, and you're not really going to feel like you're going to have one phone that's going to be way slower or faster because of the chipset. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest, the ProMotion display on the iPhone 15 Pro Max makes it feel like so much faster, it's not even funny. But regardless, both phones are great, and there's not like insane amount of things to complain about here from that perspective as well. So to kind of sum it up, if I'm going to be honest, I do think that if you have all the money in the world, go for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. That is probably the one I'd recommend a vast majority of people to go ahead and buy. And that one definitely makes a lot more sense for me to recommend to people to buy than something like the iPhone, than the iPhone 15 Plus. But if you want to go for the 15 Plus, go for it. But even then, I wouldn't go for that one. I'd recommend just going and buying a used iPhone 14 Pro Max in the used market. And that one would make a significantly more sense in my head to recommend to people rather than this one. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how I see this particular phone holding up, or these ones comparing in 2024. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.